Anthony, what if WWE buys TNA?
Oh.
I don't know either, but we're about to find out. So yeah, welcome to another episode of What If.
Indeed. It's probably a little bit of a milder what if, in it, because this seems to be fucking happening.
Well, yeah, we're kind of there or thereabouts. They've got a partnership, obviously, in place at the minute, old TKO and TNA.
But I figured it's nice and topical for us because what does that look like? Because they're quite clearly pitching TNA and NXT as like equals.
Yeah.
So like you're buying the same level brand. So what happens at that point? So I think it's a fair topic. So what if they did buy them, Carl? What becomes of TNA? What becomes of NXT? What becomes of us, Carl?
I guess the first and maybe the most important question is, what's in it for WWE? Like, why should they buy them instead of keep doing this partnership that they've got with them today?
I think buying them is probably the library and content elements, isn't it? Like,
well, to be fair, Kurt Angle, friend of the show,
he's
very adamant that his best matches and the best time in his career, essentially in terms of the quality of his work, was in TNA. And obviously WWE fans never got to see that for the most part.
True. Yeah.
So there is value in the content library, but is the content library valuable in a world where we don't have WWE Network anymore?
Because... I mean, that is a valid point, but is it something that, like, I don't know how the partnership works now. Is it something that they can pitch?
I think it's WWE goes, this is happening, and TNA goes...
over. Sorry.
What's Bend Over doing in the Impact Zone?
But is it, like, if they own the content, could they then, like, put that on Netflix for us here in the UK? Or could they put that behind a massive fucking paywall like they do in America?
What's it even on? Is it ESPN now?
Yeah, the PLEs are on the ESPN. I think Peacock still getting
the others. Right,
yeah.
Okay.
But if you want to watch a PLE, you're going to pay, son.
Yeah. So we've kind of got a little bit of a blueprint for this to a degree because WWE purchased AAA.
Oh, right. So what we're going to have then is they buy it and then...
We never hear about it.
Triple H sits in the audience and looks disinterested.
Basically how it goes.
See that clip?
No.
It was like Triple Mania and there was a particular spot that, like, obviously in the Lucha side, people were hyped over, and it just cuts to Triple H and he's just like... Okay, nice.
Tells you everything that you need to know about how you're
confident in his head. He was like, I should get steak.
But I mean, to be fair, so we've had, since the bought AAA, we've had 2 Worlds Collides.
Yes.
And that one has felt a bit more premium than the TNA partnership. Obviously, TNA is only a partnership and they've bought AAA, but with the TNA thing at the minute, it's basically NXT. They've gone, well, we'll put you with our developmental, which is like, ouch. Whereas AAA, you've had like, well, here's Dom, here's whoever else off the main roster we want to give you.
Slight tangent, but you know what is annoyingly circular in the wrestling world, in the wrestling community, right? And anyone who does this pisses me the fuck off, right?
Cool.
Is we are now back where we were about 5 fucking years ago, where people going, well, NXT is really a third brand. And it's like, how many times has NXT been really a third brand? I'm getting fucking sick of the conversation now. It's not. They don't want it to be, or it fucking would be.
Yeah.
Like, the first time, Black and Gold NXT, when they were invading the main roster, that you could have made them a third brand. But, like, let's be honest, the AEW stuff made them go, no, it's a developmental thing. They couldn't, they just about beat our developmental brand. But before that, it was a third brand. And now everyone's talking like, oh, it's really a third brand.
It's kind of hard to recover from.
Stop it.
It's hard to recover from because for that brief period when AEW was trouncing them when they were on the same night, then, they did try and save face by going, well, it's our developmental. And
But now we're back to going into the third brand. And it just pisses me. Like, let's stop going round and round like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, slight digression. But
I guess what's in it for them? So you mentioned, obviously, the content library and stuff. Like, I wonder, and maybe this is a conspiracy theory, maybe it's a cynic in me, but would they buy it just so that they can control it and take more market share away from AEW? Because at the end of the day, there's only so many people, only so many wrestling fans, there's only so much wrestling people can watch.
Yeah.
So are they thinking, because WWE has got a very bloated roster.
They have.
As we know, right? Could they go, well, do you know what? If we send our main roster talent down to NXT, which we've sort of destroyed by calling it developmental, it feels like a slap in the face. So could we buy TNA?
They're not bothered about sending the main roster down there.
Well, depends if they just pull a rating. But like, I mean, thinking like long term kind of thing.
Yeah.
So does it save face for them to be like, well, we're not going to send you to developmental, but we'll put you over on TNA? I think this is the way AEW kind of do it with Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor's not developmental, but they go, look,
Yeah, it's got
we
the
can't
prestige
fit you on
behind it.
Dynamite, we can't fit you on Collision. Go over on Ring of Honor. That could work, I think, for WWE.
It's got enough history and enough prestige behind it that it is kind of like a Ring of Honor in that sense, isn't it? Like, I'm sure Ring of Honor fans would go, no, Ring of Honor is like much more established and better and whatever. Yeah. But TNA's got that history, hasn't it? So that would make sense. And they've got TNA guys. So, like, I love the idea of having AJ back in TNA. Well, I think that's a really cool idea.
Seems like he's coming to an end. He's basically said he's done next year. So
yeah, but like before that, you know. But I suppose the question is like you say, right now the partnership seems to be, and you know, I know it's not as dramatic as I'm going to say it, right? But it seems to be like WWE have gone, let's be partners, and then we can pilfer your roster. We just take what we want because there's not a massive benefit for TNA right now. I don't think. Like they could pump a lot of WWE talent into TNA and help elevate them to their TV deals and what have you. And don't be wrong, some people are going to be like, oh, you know, there are people going over to TNA, but it's like, yeah, but you know, not quite the same.
Well, aren't like 3 of the 6 like champions like WWE people at the minute?
Yeah, they've clearly established like WWE are the big dog in this, and they are the big dog in this. But it's like,
well, NXT isn't though, is it? It's not like they've gone, okay, we'll give you AJ Styles and he can go over and be your world champion. There's no offense to obviously the champs that are there now, but it's NXT.
Yeah. No, but I get what you're saying, but it's like, this is where for me there's a little bit of a like it's like there's rumors of Joe Hendry going over. Yeah, they've already got Jordan Grace, and it's like they're big names. It's like, why don't you come and sign with us, guys? Yeah. And it's like, so what happens after that? And once they've signed the talent they want, does the partnership end, or do they buy them? Like, that's the thing for me.
I think, I mean, they are the best loophole in the world, TNA, for WWE, because how many times have they basically done that? That's their model, isn't it? It's like, well, tell you what we'll do, we'll release them. Yeah. Then we'll sign with TNA, and then we'll put them on NXT anyway. And we don't have to pay them. Yeah. And it's like, fucking genius.
It's fucking genius. It is fucking genius.
But like, I don't know, you talk about the roster, so quite rightly, Joe Hendry is a name that seemingly is already kind of done with TNA, and it's like slowly just moved over to WWE. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it kind of feels.
I don't know how many times we have to say his name for him to appear, but I think we're getting dangerously close, so we're probably going to have to stop.
Okay. We got the likes of him, but then, like, you look at the rest of the roster, a lot of them are ex-WWE guys, and it's like, would they want them back? Would they want a Nick Nemeth? Would they want Dolph Ziggler back in there? Do you know what I mean? Santino, I fucking love.
For me,
do they see a space for him anymore?
But this is where, because there's owning them behind the scenes, and then there's owning them.
Oh, they're owning them.
but there's owning them like on screen, isn't it? Yeah. And I think, you know, if they buy them, I think it should, again, similar to the Ring of Honor stuff, like it should remain its own brand. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be like a third show. No. It should be TNA
its own thing, but just with WWE at the helm, like AAA,
exactly.
AAA model.
Yeah, it's got to be like that for me.
I don't think they can have some co-branded events and that kind of thing.
Well, this is where you get things like Invasion, which we're not allowed to call Invasion anymore. You get things like Invasion. It gets to be fun, doesn't it? Because like even like things like Survivor Series would be fun again. Well, yeah, like Raw versus SmackDown. No, let's have show versus show.
That's what I mean, though. They tried to kind of save face a little bit a couple of Survivor Series ago, didn't they? And it was like, we'll put NXT in the mix as well. But it was like, it felt like developmental. Yeah. So it's almost like, for me, the sweet spot and the rational reason WWE would buy them is if they did keep them as that separate entity, but as a place for the guys that they don't have anything for in the main roster, that they don't want to release.
That they can have a separate show for. They can deal with the TV deals and the contracts and that separately, because they don't own them right now. So if they own them as a separate entity, then it's a case of like, well, you make your own deals. Like, obviously we're in charge, we'll make separate deals. So like all their PLEs and all their stuff, it's another thing to fucking sell again, isn't it?
Exactly.
But like when it comes to your crossover stuff, like imagine a Survivor Series where you can have like you know, a team TNA, a team AAA, and a team WWE.
Like that, you know what I mean?
Fucking cool.
That would be the real forbidden door. Well, it wouldn't, because they'll own them all. But at the same time, like
these are just rooms.
That's where you go. You go with 3 top tier rosters here, and we get to have them all compete against each other. That's what fans want, isn't it?
100%.
At the end of the day, but I don't know. That's the thing I can see the most happening, I guess.
Yeah.
If WWE were to buy them, they would keep them separate, but they would have it as the place for the other the people.
You say you can see it most happening, but like obviously the last time we had them buying big companies was WCW and ECW.
It was,
and that was, other than the invasion storyline, was a merge. They just merged it all. And I don't think they can do that now. As you mentioned, how it blows up the rosters, I don't think they could do that.
Do you think there'd be like fan backlash for this? Because obviously, when that happened, obviously it was WWE. They've wiped out the competition. It's only themselves, and obviously you're still going to have AEW, but at the minute it does feel like more of a level playing field because you've got WWE, AEW, TNA, like AAA, like all these other companies
MLW,
as well. Yeah, and it's like if we go down that route again, are they just doing what they did last time, and they're just
a little bit, but people are already making the comparison. Yeah. But I think in execution, if you did the same again and you just absorb all their talent and use some of their pay-per-view names, I think it'll be too much. It'll be too much for WWE. I think it needs to be its own brand. It needs that separation visually for us as the fans going, who's where now?
Yeah.
You know, as daft as that sounds, because it's still wrestlers and still wrestling, but like, I don't know, having the separate brands is just tidier. And we know Triple H loves a bit of organisation. We know this.
Yes, he does. He loves an organised place. But yeah, you kind of touched on like the content library and stuff, and just the IP of TNA. Ultimately, like for me, if you moved main roster talent over to TNA, you can be like, oh, Kurt Angle's held this title, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. You know what I mean? Right now, if you move a main roster talent to NXT and they win the title, it's like, you know what I mean? And like you could be like, oh, you know, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, whatever.
Yeah. Well, you have to build prestige. But that's been some of the issue with a lot of the titles they've been introducing, isn't it? That it's like, well, you need to build the prestige of it.
Yeah.
Or the ones they've damaged, like the IC title. Yeah. You need to build their prestige back because you fucked it.
Do you ever see a world where they do buy TNA, but like just for the talent that they want to keep and then just dissolve it? Or do you think if they ever bought it, they would always keep it as its own thing? And what would the fate of NXT be then? Would they also keep that as a development?
Now, I actually largely suspect, because NXT, it's the developmental brand, it's the next step, isn't it? But they have the PC, right? So you could, in theory, fully develop people before you put them on TV at all. I get the ethos of NXT, and that might always be the sort of the spirit of it. But for me, given the level of the pitch and everything, I would say, if it were me anyway, Triple H might disagree. I'm sure he does. But like, I would.
Let us know in the comments, Paul.
This might sound harsh. People have got a lot of love for it, but I would abandon the NXT brand.
Damn.
I would make TNA the third.
Okay, that's interesting because at the minute you don't think NXT is the third.
No, but TNA could be the third.
Okay, but then would you not still keep NXT around? Because I get what you're saying.
I think a way of establishing it for me would be TNA obliterate NXT. There is no NXT because TNA dealt with them. That's how I would market it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'd be like, have similar pay-per-views to this. Where so like a showdown.
Would TNA become the developmental then, though? Because I get what you're saying.
This is where, but that's where you can make that step to go. It's not no. They tried to coin a CM Punk term. They tried to box with God, right?
Yeah,
couldn't do it. So like that's where you could establish TNA. They bodied them because TNA are bigger and better.
Yeah,
and then you're left with the bigger and better brand.
Yeah,
you could market it like that.
Yeah, but do you see that as being where the NXT talent start out in the same way? Because you kind of said before you can get them ready before they go on TV.
Well, this is where
you kind of need your TV reps.
I think though this is where we get too wrapped up in NXT talent.
Yeah.
Like, and you go, like, I don't think it should be a hard and fast rule that you go, they all start out in NXT or TNA. And I know they strictly speaking don't have a hard and fast rule. Yeah. But like, look at right now, so many people are like, oh, but Femi's going to the main roster. He's so ready for the main roster. If he doesn't go to the main roster, people are going to be pissed off because he's ready for the main roster. Yeah. There's loads of talent they've got on there now who were already very well established stars who need a little bit of polish in the WWE approach, but aren't like, and it's too much of a mix.
Yeah,
you've got people who really need the developmental, and you've got people who they need a coat of polish, and then off they go. Like Blake Monroe doesn't need to be there very long.
True,
you know what I mean. Like Jordan Grace doesn't need to be there very long.
But that
Joe Hendry, when he signs with them, doesn't need to be there very long.
This is where you fall into that problem, though, is that there's a lot of people ready to be put on the main roster, and there's not enough space for the main roster as it is. And
True.
This is the paradox they find themselves in, which is why I think buying TNA could be perfect for them. because then you've got all those. You can keep like your, I don't know, your fucking Romans, your Codys, like your top level talent on your WWE brands.
Yeah.
But then people who are like, how many amazing talents? Like AJ's only just kind of come back onto the scene. Like he's been sat there with nothing to do for ages. There's a bunch of guys there who.
But this is where I'm like,
sat on their hands.
I think this is where I'm like, it should depend on the talent. It shouldn't be a de facto you'll go to TNA. I think if somebody's truly excelling and there's the right storylines there, you move them to whatever roster is appropriate.
Yeah.
Similarly, and I know it's hard to do this because of how well established WWE is, but let's say you have a Drew McIntyre who's not in the main title picture at the moment, kind of, and you go, there's actually a really good feud here for him and Moose.
Yeah.
Then you go, well, bang over there.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's a place. It's not like a place to send people when they're like, oh, they're being shit or they need. Because at the minute, because NXT is a developmental brand, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
At the minute, if they sent Drew McIntyre down to NXT for a few months, you'd be like, oh shit, why have they done that? Is there something gone wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you sent him to TNA,
yeah,
you wouldn't necessarily feel the same way.
Yeah. But this is where if they carry on where they're at now and they go, they're rivals to NXT and they're equals, then you kind of take that establishment away, don't you? And you go, right, so they're developmental.
Yeah.
So you kind of need to not go, here's all the NXT talent. If you were to go with my approach and go, get rid of NXT and have TNA as a third brand, you can't then go, here's all the NXT roster. You need to mix it up.
Yeah.
And put big names in there. Otherwise, it is going to feel like, all right, you've just rebranded NXT now.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It would need a mix. I just think you'd probably need as you say, the guys who are main event level or top level but just aren't in a storyline right now, then you make a storyline for them when there's more hours of TV to fill on elsewhere, don't you?
Yeah.
So, okay. I guess, so maybe my final take on it and then your final take on it, and then we'll ask each other, do we think it's going to happen and should it happen? So, my final take, which I think I've said about 10 times now, I think what could happen is WWE go, yes, we're going to buy TNA for the content library, for the prestige, the history, the people who've had there, all that good stuff. You keep it as TNA. It's not like a WWE product necessarily.
Yeah.
It's a promotion, but they own it. Yeah. And they use it as a place for a very bloated roster to get equal share of time, stories, and use out of that roster, I guess. So that's the way I would see it going, operating independently from WWE as its own thing, but WWE sharing its talent with them, and kind of doing it that way.
Yeah.
What's your take on it? Your take is, well, NXT still being a thing, I suppose, is my difference.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would honestly, in an ideal world, and we're way past this, like, but in an ideal world, I think buying them is inevitable because I feel like you don't, however minimal the risk is, and it's very minimal right now, you don't want the chance of then TNA going, actually, we're done, and we might establish ourselves and become competition for you again.
Yeah.
So why would you even have that remote risk? You just go, well, we're gonna own you. So I think that's inevitable. But what I think would have been really cool, and we'll not get my take on it, but would have been really cool is for none of this to have been like obvious or signposted. For TNA to just suddenly have a large injection from some unknown entity to build them up to become competition, but then that reveal
and then Shane McMahon appears on the Titantron.
No, but like for me, I would have fully waited ages, like made hints at like start popping shots at each other a little bit, so you go, they're getting a bit feisty here, but build TNA up, like without any mention of a partnership or WWE, and it's just like, oh, they're suddenly really really going a bit big here. They've got a TV deal, they've got all sorts going on, but TKO are actually behind them. I know it's hard to hide these things.
They could have secretly been releasing talent as well, and suddenly TNA is snapping them up and like, why is everyone going to TNA not
manufactured like that competition where it's like, oh, they've stole TNA talent, and TNA's actually stole fucking Drew McIntyre. Jesus Christ, that kind of thing, and whether you reveal it eventually or not, but like that eventual like, oh shit, they've played us, would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah,
but we're past that now, so sadly you can't do that. But I think it would have been really cool to like basically discreetly build their own competition, and let people think it was actual. Because let's be honest, as fans, we love the competition. Like as much as like people love to moan about AEW, exactly what's happening, isn't it? They like to compare the two, and they like to complain about this is better, that's better, and they get tribalistic over it, and that makes money. So it's like, imagine controlling both sides of that competition, and just Triple H has loved playing the audience before now. Anyway, he's leaked little news bits and stuff, and like imagine like that executing something like that where you've gone, actually they own them the whole time. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that would have been
done us.
That would have been brilliant, to be fair. But yeah, just in this
as a comparative, imagine an eventual reveal where you find out actually AEW has been owned by TKO the whole fucking time.
That would blow. That would genuinely.
That would fuck everyone up.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the kind of reveal I'd love. And that's obviously not true, but that's the kind of reveal I would love to have been done and executed with the TNA.
Yeah.
Which obviously we can't do, but that's where I would have been at.
No, I love that. That would have been brilliant. I think ultimately then it comes down to, do we think, is this ever going to happen?
Yes.
Is WWE going to buy TNA?
Yeah.
Yeah? How confident, when do you think it's going to be?
For Christmas.
Okay.
That's what Santa's going to leave under the tree.
So Nick Khan's going to be like, Hunter, got you something.
Open it.
Open a box and Santino just comes out.
Triple H. We could even do the vignettes. He gives him a gift and it's a TNA belt. It's like, what's this for? And then his next gift is like a fucking turnbuckle cover or something.
Yeah.
And you know,
before you know it, he's literally
eventually
every
few
piece of TNA.
vignettes later, it's like, yeah, it's TNA.
Opens a gift box, the inspiration come out. Nice.
That would be iconic.
That would be iconic. But yeah, they would be the first people I would fucking put to WWE roster.
All right, okay. I wonder where you're going with that. Yeah. So,
I'm gonna play contrarian then. I don't actually think it's gonna happen.
Really?
I think WWE will be more ruthless with this. I think the AAA deal made sense because they wanted to branch out into the Mexican market. I think they already own the United States market, so they're probably going to be quite happy being horrible businessmen about it and having a partnership with TNA, but taking all their best talent. So Joe Hendry is going to be over there.
But let's say, like, ultimately, let's say that they do that and that cripples TNA.
Yeah,
because they've just come along and gone, I'll take these. I'll have these toys. The only thing that's left then is the back catalogue, isn't it?
Well,
so
but
why wouldn't you buy it?
Well, they will when TNA goes bankrupt.
So they wouldn't buy the brand. They just go, now there's nothing left of you. Yeah. We'll have the videos.
That's exactly what they did with WCW and ECW. They just bought
but they bought all the branding, didn't they?
But they did that with the view of, we're going to have WWE Network. Now I don't know what's the benefit.
Well, that's the thing. But surely though, the deals they've got, I know it's not a massive incentive, but the deals they've got with the likes of Peacock, with the likes of Netflix and Netflix and that allows them to then put story tales from TNA on there as well.
Maybe that's what they're going to call it. Story tales from TNA. Maybe they might just go with whack it on YouTube. We've obviously got WWE Vault on there and stuff now as well.
You could whack it on YouTube if you want.
Yeah. Why the hell not? Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think WWE are going to play dirty. I think
it's like, say it while the image has got a big bag of cash.
Yeah, I think they're basically, this partnership is great for both of us, and really they're taking all the best TNA talent and they're giving them relative unknowns in NXT to go over there, saturating the fan base of TNA, and all the while stealing all the best guys from them, where there's going to be not much left, and they'll be like, well, shit.
Yeah.
So,
okay, evil man,
evil. Not me. I'm not saying what I would do. I just think that could be what's happening here. But we'll see. Yeah. But more importantly, what do you think? Is WWE going to buy TNA? Let us know. Comment below. And while you're here, you've made it this far, sub in that.
Yeah.
Like the video. If you're listening to us, like the audio. The liquid butter in your ears.
Nice.
So yeah, that was another fun-filled what other what if episode would you like us to see? Obviously, we just did one about the late great Bray Wyatt and what his career could have been. Obviously, a little bit more of a somber episode than we used to, but yeah, what if scenarios would you like us to explore? Let us know, and yeah, make sure you check out the channel, check out the podcast for all the latest crazy shenanigans.
Indeed,
and we will catch you on the next one.